Leader, please can you move for suspension of our rules to enable us admit members of the Parliament of Bulgaria to be in the chamber to observe our proceedings for today.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihanvere, Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that we suspend our rules to enable us admit into the chamber members of the Bulgarian Parliament. I so move.
Honorable George.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable George Ibezima Akozodinobi, member representing Jikoka and Ocha Dunukofia. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by our leader. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Is the chairman of the committee, the friendship group around? Please, can you please lead them through the chamber? Lead them in, please. Honorable Leader, you are again, for the second time, promoted to the leadership role to support Honorable George. Honorable Bado, do you want to also cross the carpet and support the leadership here? Are you willing? Honorable Bado, you want to sit here? No, let me declare you first. Let me declare that you have decamped, and then you can move. Are you ready? So, which party are you decamping to? No, I was just joking. You can go back to a seat if you want. But if you still want to remain there, no problem. We recognize that you are there as a friend of the opposition. Honorable colleagues, we have one announcement, and it is coming from Honorable Nnamdi Izechi, who is the Chairman House Committee on Nigeria-South Korea Parliament. Is a House Committee of Friendship Group. His announcement reads as follows. I write to notify you of the maiden meeting of the House Committee on Nigeria-South Korea Parliamentary Friendship Group, scheduled as follows. Date 28 February 2024, time 3 p.m., venue suite 2.55, House of Representatives. The members of the committee are Honorable Izechi Nnamdi, Chairman, Honorable Hassan A. Nalaraba, Deputy Chairman, Honorable Winga Sesi Oluwasun, Member, Honorable Abodike Pascal A., Member, Honorable Epo Paul Akwa, Member, Honorable Sani Ibrahim Tanko, Member, Honorable Webo Bayford Anayo, Member, and Babasoro Haliru, the committee clerk. I appeal to Your Excellency to kindly announce on the floor of the House. Thank you. Signed, Honorable Nnamdi Izechi, Chairman. Any member with petition may please rise to present. Let me start with, in the order of academic qualifications. Okay, let me start with my brother, Honorable Manusoro. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Mansour Manu Soro, member representing Daras Uganjua Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Bauchi State. I have with me here a petition from the Youth and Environmental Advocacy Center on the non-treatment of a victim of armed robbery in the person of Dr. Barini Eleni by 4 medical officers in Rivers State on the ground of not possessing a police report leading to his untimely death. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, may I read the petition?
Please go ahead, Honorable. Any member? Yes, Honorable Member Brass, go ahead.
The Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to present a petition from Mr. Fidelis Uti against the Nigerian Police Force. Mr. Fidelis Uti enlisted into the Nigerian Police Force 2001, and the salary stopped 2013 because 2013 emolument form was not processed and he submitted it late. Mr. Speaker, sir, can I present this? Can I place this petition?
Please go ahead. Any more petitions? Yes, Right Honorable.
Thank you, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Honorable Sir Tochukwu Chinedu Okere. I represent the entire people of Owerri North, Owerri West, Owerri Municipal Federal Constituency. I am an Owerri man from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I have this petition from Ohanese Youth Council requesting intervention and investigation against the unprovoked harassment, maltreatment, wanton killings, and detention of over 5,000 innocent Nigerian youths in the Republic of Benin prisons. Mr. Speaker, I seek your approval and the leave of the House to present this petition.
Please kindly proceed. Any more petitions? Yes, Honorable.
Your Excellency, the Honorable Speaker of this distinguished House, my honorable colleagues, my name is Mr. Honorable Peter Ifeanyi Uzokwe. I represent the good people of Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and the Ekwusigo Federal Constituency. I present this petition on behalf of Mrs. Chinwe Nwosu on the brutal killing of her husband, Chigozie Nwosu, of Umudinkwa Umudim Nnewi in Nnewi North local government area by one Inspector Audu Omodefe of the Nigerian Police. Mr. Speaker, they let Mr. Chigozie Nwosu gave a loan to 2 police officers, but instead of paying that loan, they lured him to Oka and shot him. Unfortunately for them, he did not die instantly. Good-spirited Nigerians took him to the hospital, and in front of police officers and the staff of Ama Akujara Hospital, he told them what happened before he gave up the ghost. Please, Mr. Speaker, the woman is a young woman with 4 kids and is pleading this honorable House to intervene and put her case and see that justice is seen to be done. May I take the leave of this House and their kind permission to lay this petition?
Please go ahead. Yes, Honorable, go ahead.
The People's Speaker, esteemed colleagues, My name is Barrister Jesse Okejo Onu Akalos. Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, I represent Nigerians, especially the heartbeat of Lagos, Oshodi Solo. Mr. Speaker, I have 3 petitions here, but I will summarize them. One is from the Southern Ijon against Nigerian Ajib Oil Company over deliberate refusal to pay compensation valued at 870 million over on the case of oil pollution. The second one is by Public Complaint Commission against Nigerian Navy for unwarranted provocation by the Nigerian Navy against Idosak village opposite University of Abuja. The second one is a petition flagrant disregard to the principle of federal character by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulation Commission. Mr. Speaker, the petitioners have articulated their prayers and they seek the intervention of this honorable house. Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, I seek your leave to lay these important petitions, believing that this heart is a heart of justice for Nigeria. I so move.
Please go ahead. Yes, my chair.
Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, Nnamdi Ezeichi is my name. I represent Ndokwa in the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. This petition is coming from Patrick Oko and Co. Titled Investigation by the House Committee on Compliance with the Industrial Training Fund Act, American International School of Lagos. Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, oblige me the opportunity to lay this petition.
Please go ahead. Any more petitions? Any more petitions? All petitions? Professor Lillian, are you still going to present your petition? All petitions are referred to the Committee on Public Petitions for further legislative action. David Omoru, are you around? David Omoru? Jeremiah Omoru, sorry. Is he around? Please, can you kindly introduce our August visitors to the members of the House for their information? Just do it from there.
Thank you, Excellency, highly respected colleagues. My name is Jeremiah Omoru ACA, member representing the good people of Akwanga, Nasarawa, Egon, Wamba Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Nasarawa State. My dear honorable colleagues, before this honorable house today is our counterpart from the Parliament of the Republic of Bulgaria. As you are aware, I am the chairman of the Nigerian-Bulgaria Friendship Group. And I have my deputy here, Honorable Matthew Anthony, as a deputy. Today we have the chairman of the Bulgarian-Nigeria Friendship Group and other members of the Parliament of the Republic of Bulgaria. And of course, with the ambassador of Bulgaria to Nigeria with them. From his dressing, you all know that he's the ambassador in Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, can you stand up for recognition? That's the chairman of Bulgaria-Nigeria Friendship Group. And there are other members. Can you stand up for recognition? Other members of the Parliament. And of course, the ambassador, who is like somebody from Kano. Can you stand up for recognition? and also a friend to the ambassador is also with them. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know whether the leader of the delegation would want to say a word or two. If you want to address the House, we give you 2 minutes to do so. There is a podium for you there to speak.
Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker,
Order.
Honorable Leadership, Honorable Members of the Parliament, Gentlemen of the Press, my name is Vladislav Panev. I am the leader of the friendship group between Bulgarian and Nigerian parliaments. This year marks the 60th anniversary of our diplomatic relations between our great countries. I'm glad that we are here for visiting Nigerian Parliament after so many decades of absence. Bulgaria and Nigeria in the past maintained mutually beneficially cooperation, and I'm glad and I'm sure that we will maintain and revive our cooperation in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable colleagues, I have a very urgent announcement to make. It's coming from Honorable Mohammed Umar Bio, and the announcement reads as follows. Please, all members of North Central Zone, comprising of Plateau, Nasarawa, FCT, Kwara, Niger, Benue, and Kogi, are to attend an emergency meeting on Thursday at number 60, Nelson Mandela Street, Asokoro, Abuja, at 8 p.m. prompt. Thanks in anticipation. Honorable Mohammed Umar Bio, the Zonal Chairman, North Central. Right, honorable colleagues, permit me to recognize Honorable D. Konchiki John Okafo to move a motion of urgent public importance.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, very distinguished colleagues. My names are Honorable Chike John Okafo, PhD. I represent the good people of Ehimembano, Ihitu Boma, Ubo Federal Constituency. I am from Imo State. I rise under Order 825 to move a motion, food scarcity in Nigeria, nutritional dangers, an urgent need for more government remedial measures to address food shortages ahead of the next farming season. Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider this as very important and urgent, and that we suspend our relevant rules of the House to enable us to take this immediately. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to the first leg? Honorable Eden.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafun, Urogonam Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion is Honorable from Benue.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Architect Dr. Austin Asema Chado. I move the second leg of the motion as ably moved by my colleague. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Deacon, please proceed with your debate.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished colleagues, once again, I am Chike John Okafor. I represent the good people of Ehimen Bano, Yitu Boma constituency. I'm from Imo State. Food scarcity. The House notes the spreading issue of food scarcity in Nigeria and the impending nutritional dangers that are accompanying it. As we approach the farming season, it is imperative that we take immediate action to avert a worsening crisis and ensure the availability of food and well-being of our citizens. The House is aware that the current state of food scarcity in Nigeria poses a grave threat to the health and livelihoods of millions of our people. That insufficient access to nutritious food not only leads to hunger and malnutrition, but also exacerbates existing health conditions and undermines the overall development of our nation. Also aware about the various positive interventions by Mr. President, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and the commitment of Mr. Speaker, the Right Honorable Tajudeen Abbas, in the 10th National Assembly legislative agenda for wellness and well-being of Nigerians. It is worthy to note that the raining and the farming season is fast approaching, and the looming specter of food shortages looms large. Without adequate remedial measures in place, we risk plunging our country into deeper turmoil with far-reaching social, economic, and political implications. Hence, the need for a more purposeful gathering and more government import waivers for farming and agricultural equipment in Nigeria. Worried that nutrition and food is the most important existential challenge in Nigeria today, because 24.9 million Nigerians are presently in acute stage of hunger, and this is considered to be an emergency, while 85.8 million Nigerians have insufficient food consumption, and out of this number, 47.7 million Nigerians have a crisis or above crisis level in terms of food-based survival margin. Also worried that peaceful protests is already taking place in some states with citizens groaning due to hunger and demanding immediate government intervention. Cognizant that the government needs to increase the resources to support smallholder farmers and agrarian communities, ensuring that they have the necessary inputs, tools, and infrastructure to enhance food production through short-term subsidies as the government continues to strengthen the existing food distribution networks and mechanisms to ensure equitable access to essential food items across all regions of the country. The House is invited to resolve as follows. 1, urge the federal government to improve on short-term food subsidies, assistance to farmers, especially those engaged in dry season farming, improve supply chain control to reduce wastage and short-term price control. 2, that a National Food Security and Nutrition Summit is urgently convened by the Committee on Nutrition and Food Security in conjunction with other relevant committees of the House to address the current shortage of food and nutrition dangers with a view of finding lasting solutions to the food crisis facing the country. 3, to mandate all relevant government ministries, departments and agencies, civil society organizations, and private sector partners to actively participate in the summit and contribute towards the formulation of comprehensive solutions to ensure more legislative input for food security and nutrition for all Nigerians. And finally, also to mandate the Committee on Nutrition and Food Security and other level committees of the House to ensure compliance and report back to the House within 3 legislative weeks. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Bapa.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Aliu Ba from Miso FCN, representing the good people of Miso Damban Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, permit me to just chip in 1 or 2 words in respect of. Okay, I stand to second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay.
Mr. Speaker, contribution, sir.
Contribution.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please make it brief.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, our G-Nombe Dagomie Abiante, Anthony Opobo Nkoro Federal Constitution, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and my colleagues, that as a parliament,
order, please, order.
Even as Nigerians and Nigeria as a nation, that we are still talking and speaking to this issue simply means a lack of focus, a lack of vision, and the fact that we have not taken our planning very seriously. Mr. Speaker, I know that for the benefit of those who were here in the 8th Assembly, 9th Assembly, this very issue of food security took a lot of our time. All that we have asked for today, provide this, dry season farming, where are they going to farm? In as much as there is still insecurity in the land, farmers cannot go to their farms. All that we want to do is palliative. It will not work, Mr. Speaker. Food security, why is there security attached to it? There has to be that planning in your architecture of your national security, and you don't include food, you will fail. And that is why we have gotten to this point. If we must provide any palliative, we must provide incentives to farmers. The farming environment, the arable lands, must first of all be secured, Mr. Speaker. Boots must be on ground for farmers to be assured that they can go to their farms and come back home. If we don't take that as the primary responsibility of governance, if we don't give enough impetus to it, if we don't attach seriousness to it, no matter what we will do, Mr. Speaker and my distinguished colleagues, it will be like pouring water on the back of the duck. It will not work. It is necessary and imperative at this point that we urge the federal government to consider seriously the issue of securing the ungoverned spaces so that farmers and fishermen can really do their work. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Bapa, let me allow you to contribute since that was your initial
Mr. Speaker,
intention.
thank you very much. My name is Eliu Bafamiso. Mr. Speaker, the motion is timely because this is a situation over 75% of the Nigerian people could not have food on their plates. Mr. Speaker, it is about the insecurity. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the cost of the inputs to the farm is equally on the high rise. I am privileged to have been an executive chairman of a blending company. 5 years back, Mr. Speaker, a bag of fertilizer NPK 2010-10 was being sold at 5,000 to the off-takers. Then the off-takers had a margin of 500 cost of transportation, loading and reloading, being sold at 5,500. Today, Mr. Speaker, a bag of NPK 2010-10 is 38,000 naira. That is 38,000 naira. That is 8 times or 4 times, Mr. Speaker. If you are putting in 10 bags at 50,000, today you will require almost about 250,000 for you to have 8 bags on it. Without these inputs, Mr. Speaker, definitely the output will never be as it was before. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government have a very good intention. The reason why I'm saying this is there is the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority that is in charge of bringing in the 2 components, that is the DAP and the MOP, one from Morocco, after signing an agreement with the Moroccan president, and the other one from Russia and Ukraine. Mr. Speaker, the volatility of the dollar is causing the problem of the importation of these 2 major components. And the government, we will urge the government to subsidize the importation of these 2 components of the raw materials. And Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you, even the Indo-Roma we have here, who is producing another segment or another component of the raw materials, that is the fertilizer, urea. We were to buy urea last year, and fortunately the same Indo-Roma are saying they are not going to sell in Naira, they are going to sell in dollar. This is disgusting in our own country. our own company is saying that we should pay in someone else's money. Mr. Speaker, I will want to ask this House to, as a matter of fact, plead with the government or direct the government to subsidize the cost of the input. I'm not talking of the pesticides. I'm not talking of other inputs. Mr. Speaker, as at today, a bag of rice, look.
What's your point?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Right Honorable Comrade Chinedu Ogaowen. Mr. Speaker, this is a parliament of the masses. And most of us here are reputed farmers. We bought fertilizer from Eldorado. There is no any time that Eldorado sell fertilizer in dollars. And the Roma.
Honorable, I thought what you are now trying to do is just to contribute,
yes,
not to make a correction.
Okay.
If you are trying to make a correction, your point of order will be sustained. But if you are just trying to contribute, okay, you allow the other member to finish, we'll recognize you.
Oh, yeah, let him finish, I'll do my contribution.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I sincerely appreciate his kind contribution, but what I'm saying is from the horse's mouth.
Order, please, order, order.
I thank him for the intervention or probably want to contribute. Mr. Speaker, the problem at hand, food insecurity, Mr. Speaker, and my fellow colleagues, is worse than any insecurity world over. With food insecurity, believe you me, we will go nowhere. There is going to be apprehensive in this country. Therefore, I am urging this, the mover of the motion, thank him for that, and urge the government to give subsidy as for the inputs and to provide security so that the farmers can go to the farm and farm. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the chance.
Thank you, honorable member. So, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm Right Honorable Comrade Chinedu Ogaowen. Mr. Speaker, I represent Ikwo Ezasa Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State, the most potential food producing in this country, and I'm a potential farmer, Mr. Speaker. And this motion, yes, this motion is timely and is very necessary to our country. But my contribution, Mr. Speaker, the move of this motion made mention of dry season farming alone.
Order.
I want
Order
to
in the
add
House.
that
Order.
all-round farming should be inclusive in the sense that our farmers in the rural area will benefit, especially those that cultivate during the rain season. And in addition, Mr. Speaker, most of intensive given by the federal government are being benefited by non-farmers in Abuja. Let those grants be given to the villagers in various areas, in various local governments, in various wards who are producing food for this country. It will help, and it will help to secure and produce the food we need in this country. That is my little contribution, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take only 2 more contributions and then we put the question. Honorable Deacon, after you, the Deputy Chairman Finance will talk and then we put the question, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me observe that I didn't have the privilege of leading the debate. What I simply did was to read the motion, and as it is parties here, I was supposed to also rise to lead on the debate before contributions. Maybe some of the issues that had been raised probably would have been captured in my debate. Mr. Speaker, let me thank you. I don't know, for those who refer to people who see beyond today as Nostradamus. But let me thank you, Mr. Speaker. When you broke away and created the Committee on Nutrition and Food Security, it looked to me that yesterday you saw today. And so I'd like to thank you, and that shows how proactive you are. I want to tell us that the situation that we have at hand is very dire. Across the 36 states, across the 700 and something local government areas, across the 360 constituencies that we represent, nobody and no community is free and safe. So I'm going to ask us to rise above partisanship and look at this matter, and let us not continue to take blames to the executive, because you and I also know that this government is very much bothered about all the issues that has brought us to where we are. So what we should do as a parliament is to show empathy. What we should do as a parliament is to do what we show Nigerians, that we are as much bothered as every other person. So let us reduce the debate and look at the issues and the substance in the motion and pass this motion with the speed of light and urgency that it requires. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Chairman Finance, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida Kokacha Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I wish to commend my colleague for bringing this all-important motion this early morning. Mr. Speaker, last week Friday, the Daily Trust newspaper's front page headline talked about this issue of food insecurity. There was the front page read that youth attack trucks, steal food items in Niger State. Mr. Speaker, interestingly, on Thursday, we were on our way coming back from Mina, myself and my honorable colleague Absamad Dasuki, and we almost ran into a mob. At the time this was taking place, we were getting to the spot. So what does this goes to show, Mr. Speaker? There is serious frustration in the land, and it's all as a result of the food insecurity that we're talking about. And the mover of the motion did speak about ungoverned spaces. Somebody talked about insecurity relating to ungoverned spaces. Mr. Speaker, if we look at some parts of this country, especially I can easily talk about my state, there are spaces, ungoverned spaces that are very secured, which if government is to pay serious attention to, some of these issues of food insecurity will not be a challenge that we overwhelm us as a people today. Niger State is sitting on a landmass that is almost 10% of the total landmass of the country. And I can assure you that more than 50% of the landmass is secured and arable for agriculture. So I think it's about time that somebody talked about organizing a summit. We've had enough of the talk shows. It should be about time we start taking actions and measuring actions as far as this nation building drive is concerned. We've had lots of talk shows without serious action. And like I said, my governor today is taking the lead in terms of giving the necessary attention to the agricultural sector. A lot you will have seen on the news that the state procured more than 300. We've received so far more than 300 tractors, expecting about 700 more. So such a state, I think, it's enticing for the federal government to go into a collaboration for such a state. So the government needs to be very measurable in terms of taking action on food insecurity. All these talk shows and what have you will not take us to where we want to get to as a country. There's been plenty policy mismatch. In the last dispensation, we must acknowledge that there was a little attention given to the agricultural sector, which brought about little stability in terms of food security. But even then, we did talk about mismatch between what the sector really needs and what the government was focusing on today. I will give an example of a state like Kano. Audu Bako was governor of Kano between 67 and 75. He gave particular attention to the provision of irrigation infrastructure in Kano. Till date, Audu Bako is still a reference point when you talk agriculture in this country. So I think the government should give particular attention in providing the necessary infrastructure to the farm place, so that we, even after the lifespan of this government, you will leave something that is sustainable for others to come and build on. So I think, in summary, we need to be very measurable, very calculative, if we really want to take this food security issue off our challenges. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I think we already agreed that we take only two, but the Deputy Speaker wants to say 1 or 2 words, so under privilege, I will allow him to.
Thank you. Ian Zhao, the Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives. Most distinguished
Order,
colleagues.
please, order.
Most distinguished colleagues, my name is Benjamin Okezie Carlo. I represent the good people of Nigeria, starting from Ben, the Federal Constituency. Honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Abia State. I rise to support this motion and also ask for an amendment at the end of my support. I'm supporting this motion because it is in line with what Mr. President saw when he brought out the Renewed Hope agenda that prioritized food security. If you go to that agenda, you will see number 2 on that agenda, Mr. Speaker, is on food security. But beyond policy pronouncement, the mechanisms to achieve it, the federal government is working hard. We must commend them, their effort, but more need to be done. Mr. Speaker, ministries like Ministry of Agriculture should be more empowered to do more in that area. We need infrastructure in all other aspects of our life as a nation. But Mr. Speaker, I think where we need infrastructure mostly at the moment, especially the feeder roads, the farm roads, that is where we need Ministry of Works to look at. They should, and Ministry of Agriculture, let them see how to connect the farm roads to the markets. Most of the things that we are suffering in the nation at the moment is that post-harvest destruction of the produce is much. And it's not happening because the farmers don't want to take them to the farm. It's because the road between the farm and the market is so bad. So beyond insecurity, there is that need for infrastructure to connect the market to the farm. It is also high time that we begin to look at what we used to have in Nigeria, those produce board, those cooperative societies whose job was to create new market for produce that is coming up from the farms. If the farmers are sure that as long as their produce come out from the farm, that there is a ready market to get them, I can assure you they will put in more effort there. Something must be done in that direction. So while we look at other needs of the country, it is high time the country prioritizes agriculture. And the state government, I've heard the adumbration of my good friend, the Deputy Chairman of Finance, who acknowledged the effort of our own brother, who was once a member of the House of Representatives, Governor Bago, and the work he's doing in Niger State. We commend him. We are proud of him. He's an expert. He's a good expert of the National Assembly to the state. I know also Ebonyi State is doing well in the area of agriculture, and so are other governors. But I want, also he's also a former speaker, I also encourage other governors, please, other issues in the nation is important, but it is high time you prioritize your policies and the mechanisms to achieve those policies towards agriculture and this food security, so that what the president is doing from this level of the federal government will be felt also at the local level. If there is a need for any subsidy, Mr. Speaker, if there is the need for any subsidy in this country, it is to subsidize these farm input and everything that has to do with farming. Let us put our energy there. We are hardworking people in Nigeria. We have been declared as one of the happiest people in the world because we can absorb hardness and keep moving, hardship and keep moving. I want to pray the governors prioritize. We urge you. We are not mandating you. We are urging you, because all of us came from states. We urge you to prioritize the issue of agriculture. And having said that, Mr. Speaker, permit me and the honorable distinguished colleagues for me to move that the prayers of my brother in this wonderful motion be amended to include committees in agriculture, Ministry of Agriculture, which is House Committee on Agricultural Institution, House Committee on Agricultural Services, as part of the committees that will work with his committee in making sure that the issue of food security is taken to the next level. Thank you. I so move, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this amendment? Let me see if I can identify the face of a true farmer. A true farmer, not a businessman. Not an Abuja farmer. Honorable Wakili, Sani, I think you are a farmer. I'm not making any mistake, I
Yes, sir.
So please second.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Distinguished colleagues, I am Sani Ibrahim Tanku. I represent the very good people of Shiragiade. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this motion, heavily moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Right honorable colleagues, this motion is referred to the Committee on Food, Nutrition and Food Securities, Agri Institutions and Agri Services for further legislative action. Our next motion.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Pardon?
Point of order.
Yes, please.
Order 8 Rule 5, Mr. Speaker. Yes, now.
Is that a point of order?
That's the order I'm seeking the leave of the Speaker, Mr. Speaker, to speak.
To what?
Under matter of urgent public importance.
I'm going to recognize you already.
Okay.
You have already gotten your paper.